welcome back to Land. If you're new here, I am Chelsea and we are a family of 7. We are a homeschooling family, and on this channel I share a whole lot just about motherhood, homeschooling, daily vlogs, food, grocery hauls, cooking, all those things. So yeah, if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you're not new, thanks for coming back. I put a call out on my community tab as well as my Facebook page and my Instagram page for questions from you guys. If you don't follow me over on Facebook or Instagram, you should, and those are linked in the description box. I share a whole lot of daily life and fun pictures of the kiddos on Instagram, and then on Facebook I mostly share like funny memes and things like that. But anyway, I like chatting with you guys on all of those platforms. So yeah, if you don't follow me on Instagram and Facebook, go check out those links down below and let's be friends over there. So, like I said, I put out questions and I said I was gonna film this weekend, and it's Sunday evening and look, I'm here filming it. Haha, I feel accomplished. I didn't think I was gonna get to it. And some of these questions are about homeschooling, some of them are personal questions, some of them are about me and my husband, just all kinds of different things. So let's get going. I'm just gonna pick one and go. What is your favorite part about homeschooling? My favorite part about homeschooling is that I get to be with my kids all day long. I love it. I love the relationship it builds. I love that we get to pick our own schedule. I love that they get to learn in the way that works best for them. I love that we get to have so many adventures together. I mean, I love all kinds of things about homeschool, but my favorite thing, I guess, would just be the time, the quality time that I get to spend with them, and all the bonding that happens and the relationships that come out of that. It's my favorite thing. Have I always lived in Oklahoma? Yes, I have, born and raised. So I was born in Yukon, Oklahoma. If you're from here, you might know where that is. My mom actually had a home birth, so I was born at home. Funny story, I was born at home in a bathroom, and my second child was born in a bathroom but in a hospital. So that's kind of neat and funny. But yeah, and then when I was 11, we moved to Shawnee, Oklahoma, and I have lived in Shawnee ever since then. So next question. What YouTube vloggers inspire you the most? J. Morrell, Stewart, Large Family Table. Sarah from our tribe of many, love her. I like watching Moss Family TV because, I mean, they just have me like cracking up the whole time. Those are probably the 3 I watch the most, and then I have a lot of other ones that I watch, but I would say J. Morrell inspires me and Sarah inspires me as a mama. My mama heart, my homeschooling heart, all those things. And then Fallon at Moss Family TV, I love watching them. They're hilarious and watching them as a family. So those are my top 3 that inspire me and I just really enjoy watching. How do you do vacation with a family of 7? Is it hard to find accommodations? Are there any discounts that you find? So we take vacation once a year. We did miss the year that we're in right now just because we had so much going on, and that is not something that we prioritized with our time or our money. But I was sad when we skipped it, so we definitely won't skip again. So we take 1 vacation a year. We also try to do smaller camping trips throughout the year, just like 1 to 2 night camping trips here in Oklahoma. But for our one like big vacation, we try to pick somewhere always within driving distance, because obviously that's gonna save a whole lot of money if you're not paying to fly. So the furthest we've ever gone, it was a little over 9 hours, and we split that up. So we found lots of cool stops along the way. We stopped and stayed the night and stuff like that to get there. But we try to keep it within 5 to 10 hours so that we can drive. Let's see. Is it hard to find accommodations? Yes, it is. I know they make websites out there for large families. I haven't used those yet because Violet and Aria have been so small that they sleep with me. So when I guess I fib a little bit when I fill out, and I know a lot of families who do this because I had a friend who told me, she was like, don't actually put the number of kids. If you have kids, you know, like under 5, don't list them. It's okay. So obviously the hotel clerks see us coming in and everything, but when you're filling it out, it won't let you pick a room if you have an exceeding number of people sleeping in it. But when you get to the hotel, if you let them know like this is a bed child, The hotels we've been to have been very friendly about it. It is a good idea to let them know in case of an emergency. If there was a fire, they need to know how many people are in the building. So it's more of a glitch with websites. That's how I get around that, because if I put down that we have 7 people, there's no room that will be available to us. If you lower that number down to even just 6, tons of rooms will pop up. So obviously if you have a family bigger than 7, maybe that won't help you. But if you have a family of 5, 6, 7, you can fit in smaller rooms. That's why they have cots that they'll give you and cribs that they'll give you. That's just a glitch on the website side. But when you get to the hotel, if you just kind of tell them like, hey, these are my bed sleepers, or give them a call. Everyone I've ever been to has been very accommodating about that. Also, you can bring a sleeping bag and put 1 or 2 kids on the floor, you know, pillows, all those things to fit more in. And most hotels will accept that. Some might not. Also, Groupon. Groupon has great hotel deals, great Wolf Lodge deals. They even have cruises and all kinds of stuff on Groupon. So if you're not checking into that, check into it. Also, off season. We go on vacation during winter time. It saves so much money and everything is so empty. Well, almost springtime. We try to go a couple of weeks before spring break. So everything is really empty and everything's a lot cheaper. And Groupon will have even better deals during that time. And hotels themselves will have better deals during that time because they're so empty. So pick an off season, talk to your hotels, and you know, let them know some of these kids don't really need all this space. So can you accommodate me? Those things help. Let's see, the next question. I'd like to know if you've ever had to face people not agreeing with you homeschooling and how you dealt with that. And also your favorite homeschool read alouds. Yes, I've dealt with people face-to-face not agreeing with my homeschooling. I don't think I've had family members. Of course, when you announce you're going to homeschool, every single family member probably wants to know, well, yeah, but not for high school, right? And so that's one thing. Or they'll say, you know, well, what are you going to use? Well, how are you going to socialize? Even family members, well, how are your kids going to learn how to talk to people? You know, all those things. But they didn't say it negatively or rudely. They were just genuinely curious. And so it wasn't that bad. I mean, the family members that talk to me face to face anyway aren't that bad. We'll say that. And then it's usually just strangers that have negative things to say face to face. Yeah, not agreeing. I've had really, really odd things said to me, but usually people who are going to say something that odd are kind of off track anyway. It's not their business. It's the same thing as having a large family. Sometimes you get things said to you. You know, God bless you, honey, you go on with your day. And I haven't really had too many horrible things said. I think the worst thing that's ever been said was someone asked if I was worried my kids were going to be basement bombers. I don't even know. What does that mean? A basement? No, but now I'm worried about you here, Joe. Are you a basement bomber? Because that's a creepy thing to say. But yeah, most of the time people are just really curious about it. Not real negative, just real curious. And I'm in America where it is like booming right now to homeschool. It's growing by leaps and bounds. So most people are just curious and not that negative. Favorite homeschool read alouds? Oh my goodness, I could go on and on. I actually have a video from a long time ago about books we had read that year and some of our favorites, so you can check that out. I'll try to link it in the description box. But off the top of my head, we love Little House on the Prairie, all of them. We love The Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place a lot. Like, that's my kids' favorite. My throat is hoarse by the time we're done, but we have a really good time. Yeah, I would say those are our 2 favorite series, but there's so many that this video would be 10 hours. So check out the other video where I talk about read alouds. I have a ton. I can't even, there's just so many. There's so many good ones. So many. Oh, Because of Winn-Dixie and The Miraculous Adventure of Edward Tulane. That one. Oh, you'll cry like a baby, I tell you what. We're reading the Penderwicks right now. The Penderwick children. I don't know. We'll see if we like it. Let's see. We're on to the next one. What people in your life inspired you the most when you were younger? She has a lot of questions, this one lovely lady here. So when I was younger, people that inspired me the most. My grandma, my mom, my dad, and my grandmother, and my grandpa. If you mean family. and all for different reasons. My grandma's one of the hardest workers that I've ever known. My grandpa's one of the smartest men I've ever known. Those would be on my mom's side. My mom is one of the most courageous people I've ever known. My mom is always letting me know that we don't have to be who we are raised to be, if that makes sense. We're free to be our own person, and I appreciate her so much for raising us all to believe in ourselves and knowing that we're our own individual person, and I hope I can give that on to my kids. My dad, he is so just musically talented, and he's so funny, and he's great at poetry, and he's just reading, and we would spend so much fun time reading together. And who else? My grandmother, because she was like the ultimate homemaker, I would say, and I feel like whenever I always feel like that's who I need to try to be to my kids, is someone that is that crafty and that good at cooking and all those things. And so I aspire to be more like her in those ways. Let's see, those 5, is that what I mentioned, are my highest because they all give me something that just pushes me to be better. And I could just go on, but anyway, that's gonna make me emotional. Those people inspired me the most. Did you grow up going to church? Yes, ma'am, I did. Went to church every Sunday that I can think of. Different churches. My dad used to be a pastor. Him and my mom traveled around. They were evangelists. And so yeah, I went to church every Sunday. And we try to make it to church every Sunday. My husband's schedule makes that really hard, but sometimes I go with my mom. And if we ever miss, we have a little service here at home. More birth stories she wants to know. Well, that would make this video way too long, but this is Natalee's birth month, so I'm thinking of going ahead. I was going to do Violet's next, and I might, but I thought about maybe doing our Natalee's, if I can get my kids straight. Thought about doing Natalee's also this month because it's a fun one, and it's her birth month. So yeah, I tell all my kids their birth story on every birthday, so they could probably tell you their birth stories. Who taught you to cook? Well, okay, let's see. My grandma always cooked a lot, and my grandmother and my mom cooked some, but I remember when I moved out, me and Aaron got an apartment, and I had to call my mom, one, to ask, how do you make ground beef? So she explained to me, you get it out of the package and you chop it up, you know, and let's see what else. How to make macaroni, you know, you gotta boil the water. Yeah, there wasn't, like, my house was not a home cooked meal every night house. My mom was a single mom who worked and went to college, so she cooked when she could, but I mean, she was busy, so props to her for cooking at all. Anywho, so yeah, I guess I watched them cook, but no one ever really taught me, and then you gotta eat, right? So eventually I learned how to cook. Before you had children, did you have any hobbies? I had my first baby, Melissa, 8 days after I turned 18. So, did I have any hobbies? I was in high school. I worked at McDonald's. Yeah, I hung out with Aaron a whole lot. Don't know if I really had any. I studied. I read a lot. I studied. I wanted to be a journalist, so I wrote a lot of things. But hobbies, I mean, I played the saxophone and the piano, which is another question. Do you play the piano? I used to play a lot. I don't play anymore. I can tinker about and still play some things, but I used to play the saxophone and the piano and read and write and hang out with friends. But yeah, since before having children did I have hobbies. I mean, not too much, because I started and then it was like kid. Right now YouTube's my hobby, and that is a lot of fun. So how did you and your husband meet? A stroll down memory lane, maybe. So I won't take forever. I don't want this video to be forever, but my husband and I, when we were in middle school and high school, the popular thing to do was to walk around our little bitty mall. So I would see him in passing there at the mall, walking around, and he was friends with certain groups of friends I had, but I could never remember his name. I just knew he was cute, and he was like one of the only boys that had a mustache. This would be, yeah, middle school, high school. So I just called him Mustache. I didn't know his name, and I hardly ever talked to him, but if I was wanting to tell people about him, like, hey, do you know who I think is really cute? That mustache guy. So yeah, I didn't know his name, but I always thought he was cute, and I think I thought he thought I was cute. you know, you can just tell. So we were at a homecoming football game at the high school that's right here by our house actually. And my best friend had to go, and she was a cheerleader. And so she had to go perform at halftime. And so I was all by myself, and he was sitting like 3 rows down on the bleachers. And I guess I was just really confident. And I just went down there, and he was chewing gum. I said, "Can I have a piece of that gum?" Sure. Gives me, he's very quiet, as you can tell from vlogs. Gives me a piece of gum. We're chewing it. I think I told him he smelled good, which is just embarrassing. But he did, I'm sure. And anyway, there was a dance after that, and I asked him to go to the dance with me, and he said yes, and we danced, and we danced, and we danced, and the rest is history. I would like to know what made you decide to homeschool. So there's more to that question, but I'm just gonna stop there. I have shared in a video, I have a whole video, and I'll try to link that also, of why we started homeschooling. So I won't go into a whole bunch of that. It was just that one daughter wasn't old enough to go to school when the other was, and it made her really sad. So we played school at home, and it turned into homeschooling, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt like that's what God was calling us to do. So that's what we're doing. But yeah, I have a whole, it's probably 20-something minutes long. So if you want to hear the whole story, you can go to that. That's why we started. Now, why we keep doing it is because once you start homeschooling, you start researching it. Well, you probably did that beforehand, and I did. But you research even more, and you learn even more, and you realize it's almost like you're unschooling your brain to learn how to learn, so that you can teach your kids how to learn. Because that's the main goal we want for our children, is for them to know how to learn. Not just, here's what you have to learn. No, I want you to know how to learn, and I want you to be of good character. So 2 main goals there. You need to know how to learn, and you need to be of good character, right? What philosophy or method, and she lists some here. So Charlotte Mason, yes, I love her, and I try to keep some of her philosophies into my brain so that they come out in our homeschooling. And then she asked, you know, homeschooling or relaxed homeschooling or what? I like to call it free schooling. I had a friend who told me once, it's kind of like you free school, because while we do have structured learning, and I do say, you know, hey, we're going to be learning this in grammar. Hey, you're going to be learning this in math. When it comes to certain other things, as you know, if you watch the vlogs, I give them a lot of freedom in what they choose to learn for other subjects. So we will either split up and everyone learn about what they want to learn about for history or science, things like that, or we'll pick a group and do, we'll vote, if I can talk, as a group, and pick something that we're all interested in. So I give them a lot of freedom in that. And even when it comes to things, so I might say, hey, you're going to be learning this in math. I still give them a lot of freedom in how that gets accomplished. So is this one lesson really hard for you? Let's break it down. It doesn't have to be finished today. Let's make sure it's right and not just done. And like writing and literature and topics like that, I let them pick books that inspire them, and then we'll try to learn that literary style and that writing style, and poems the same way. So there's a lot of freedom in there. So I think free schooling is a good name for that. It's a good thing to call it, because, and I feel like we're just really eclectic. I just kind of mash a lot of things together, and it works out really well for us though. So I hope that answers that for you. Love Charlotte Mason. We call it free schooling. Very child-led learning, interest-led learning goes on here. That's what makes our hearts happy. If you homeschool, I'm going to the next question. I would love to hear how you homeschool. And also go back, I would love to hear how you met your spouse. Are you able to do Trim Healthy Mama for the entire family and at a decent budget? So I'm new to Trim Healthy Mama. As you know, it's just been, I don't even know what it's been, guys. Maybe a month. Before that, we were still eating, we were leaning towards Trim Healthy Mama. We were doing very low carb, lots of veggies, things like that, for about a month before Trim Healthy Mama kind of eased us in there. But so yes, my whole family is mostly eating Trim Healthy Mama. Any meal I make is a Trim Healthy Mama meal. Now, my kids have snacks available to them here at home that contain sugar and white flour and things like that. And so I want to slowly start weaning that out some, and I have, but not completely. And then while my husband does eat my Trim Healthy Mama meals that I cook here at home, he he might allow himself to have something like he had a low carb wrap today that was made with white flour, whereas I wouldn't. So I can't say the whole family other than me is 100% Trim Healthy Mama, but every dinner is, and breakfasts are basically, because no one's really eating cereal anymore. They're all eating things that would be considered Trim Healthy Mama. And then their other meal, because we have our dinner early, I know that's confusing, so their other meal for the kids, sometimes it's Trim Healthy Mama and sometimes it's not. So yes, a whole family can eat Trim Healthy Mama. You need to keep in mind from what I've read, and I'm a newbie, so some of you experienced ladies can tell me a whole lot more down in the comments, because I haven't been doing this for very long. Try to answer it the best that I can. I'm still learning. Kids do need more healthy carbs and whatnot than we do, and even like white potatoes, things like that. They can still handle that, and like honey and certain things. So while I am making Trim Healthy Mama's dinners and breakfast and lunches, I try to remember that they still need more carbs and whatnot. I don't want them feeling, you know, weak and lagging for energy, and I want them to grow appropriately. But a whole family could eat Trim Healthy Mama, and in the book I have Trim Healthy Table Cookbook is what I have. It tells you at the bottom of each dinner recipe, it says how to keep it an S meal, which would be your fat meal, how to make it into an E meal, or keep it an E meal, which would be your more carb meal, and then it tells you how to do a crossover, which is where you merge the two, and it tells you great options for kids or people who aren't doing Trim Healthy Mama and what they can add to their meal. So that's a great resource to have. Can I do it at a budget? I feel like yes, I can. We did go over last month on groceries, but there was a lot of other factors that were coming into play there. We had to take food certain places. My mom was here with us for a little while, so we were feeding one extra mouth, which it didn't really probably cost much extra money, but you have to take that into consideration, as well as we went a few places and took food places. So our I can't talk, y'all. Our grocery budget was a little bit more last month doing Trim Healthy Mama by what, 128 I think it was. But like I said, I have those other factors in there, and then also my husband started doing protein shakes, and so that's $20 a week right there. So that's basically the whole extra budget. And then also we are doing some convenient like Trim Healthy Mama things. You could be making your own low carb bread and low carb wraps and all kinds of things, and yogurts, and I'm not doing any of that. I'm buying it all pre-made, so that's gonna cost. And then also certain things, like we're not all gonna eat the same, so even if me and you are both doing Trim Healthy Mama, I might go spend $20 on Laughing Cow cheese because I like cheese, and you might not need to buy any, you know what I mean? So yes, obviously we don't have a huge grocery budget. If you're new, our grocery budget, I try to spend around $800 a month, and that includes household things. Last month it was like $923 or $928. So but I'm okay with that. If it costs a little bit more for all of us to be eating better, it's worth it to me. That is it. That's all the questions. So if you missed out on this Q&A, I did it really short notice. I think I did all the questions. I hope so. But yeah, it was really short notice. So if you missed out, don't worry. I will try to do another one here in a few months. If you have any other questions that you just want to pop down in the comments, I'll be happy. I love chatting with you guys down there, so I'll be happy to answer that for you. I had someone say, wow, you answer these like lightning fast. And I have an app on my phone, so whenever it's like texting, so when you guys comment, it beeps like getting a text, and it makes it really easy for me to just comment you guys back. And my channel's not huge, so I don't have thousands of people commenting. So yeah, I try to post my videos early enough that I can wake up and be drinking my coffee while you guys are starting to watch, and it gives me time to get you early birds like right away. You know, I always post at 5:45, except for occasionally, rare times I'll post later in the day. But I try to do 5:45 because I get up around 6, and then I have a few people already watched and commented, and I can chit chat with you guys. And then on school breaks and at bedtime, and it's just handy. It's like right here, so it's really like texting. So it's like we're just text buddies, and we're just texting and having a good time. So if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. If I get a ton, I'll do another Q&A, but I'll probably just answer in the comments. And again, I would love to hear how you and your spouse met. You can tell me those in the comments. And I would love to hear if you homeschool, what is your style? How did you get started? All those things, or anything else you want to tell me. So anyway, I hope this wasn't too long. I'm looking at the time. I think I've gone way too long. I love you guys. I had fun talking to you. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all. Okay, next question. Oh, how do you get your kids to listen? Well, that's a long question. First off, I know we all parent very differently. Second of all, I don't think that we need to justify our parenting methods. If it works for you and your children, you do you, I'll do me. It's my little disclaimer here because parenting is one thing that's just, it can be a touchy subject and people can get offended or hurt or get mad or think that your way of doing things is crazy. So that's one disclaimer there. You do you, I'll do me. I won't come judge your parenting. You don't come judge mine. We'll see if it works. Also, I don't know your children and you don't know mine. So when I say what I'm doing, well, you kind of know mine, don't you? But when I say what I do, please don't take that as a reflection of what I think you should be doing, because obviously, or anyone who's watching this, not just the person asking the question, I've never met your children and I've never been in your home and felt the atmosphere of it and all those things. So this is just what I do. I'm no way trying to push this on you or tell you what you should be doing or make you feel bad that you're not or anything like that. And I am no perfect parent. My children are not perfect children. So anywho, how do I get my kids to listen? Well, first off, like I just said, I'm not perfect and they're not perfect, and obedience does not always happen like that. Now, as they get older, it obviously happens more quickly, but when they're younger, 2, 3, 4, I would say those are the tricky ones, which we all know, don't we? And that's when you really have to kind of lay down your base work there and be extremely consistent. There's no one in the world as stubborn as a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, or a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, or a 4-year-old. Nobody. So that's why you have to be just as stubborn, in my opinion. So if I've asked my 2 or 3 or 4-year-old, we'll use 4 right now because Aria is 4. If I have asked her, like the other day, she did something bad to Natalee, you have to say you're sorry. Oh, she did not want to say you're sorry, I tell you what. So she had to sit on the couch until she would say that she was sorry. And every time she would try to get up, no ma'am. Now, I never yelled. Also, I did not spank. But she needed to apologize. She ate all of Natalee's gum. She ate it all, y'all. See, not perfect children. She ate all the gum. But she had to sit. And so every time she would try to get up, every time she would try to sneak away, no ma'am, you have to say you're sorry. And oh, she didn't want to, she kept fighting. You have to say you're sorry. And you just have to be extremely consistent. So you could switch that up to something else. Please go put your shoes in the tub. No. Yes, please put your shoes in the tub. And I honestly, I feel like it's, if you're telling an adult what to do, you tell them why. So put your shoes in the tub. Well, a 2, 3, or 4-year-old might not understand why is it even important. So give them clues as to why it is. You please need to put your shoes in the tub because someone might trip and hurt themselves. And I have found that children really don't want other people to get hurt. And so that helps a lot if it's something like that. Or you need to do that because you're a big person now and you're being responsible for your things. So give children reasons behind the orders. We as humans, all of us, if someone just gives me an order, I might not do the job as well as if they tell me why. Do you know what I mean? As an adult, yes, I'll probably just go do the job anyway, but it helps our brains to hear, why are we doing this? They're not a dog, right? So I'm not gonna say sit and expect them to sit. So if we're in the grocery cart and they're wanting to stand, you need to sit. Now you can tell them to sit all day and they might do it. But if you say you need to sit because you're gonna fall and hurt your head, well, they're probably gonna be more likely to do it. But the main thing is, so yes, reason with, tell them why. Tell them why. But also just be extremely consistent, and if you are consistent enough, eventually they're gonna learn you're not gonna give up. So they might as well give up. You know what I mean? I told you no, once that is it, I'm just gonna keep saying no. If you waver with that and you change your mind and you say, well, fine, get up because I'm tired of dealing with it, they're gonna learn that, hey, if I don't listen long enough, if I whine long enough, if I just say no long enough, mama's gonna give up. So why would I stop doing that? I might as well keep whining or saying no because then I'm gonna get what I want. So you just have to be consistent, consistent. And the other thing is, especially when children are growing and getting older, what is the golden rule? Well, please and thank you. Right, golden rule. But golden rule in our house is treat people how you want to be treated. So if your child comes to you and says, hey mom, I really want you to look at this piece of paper. Okay, I really need you to read over my story. Are you going to instantly turn and look at their story? Or are you going to keep looking at your phone or watching the TV? In a minute. How long does it take you to listen? Now, yes, we're the elders, so we need to be respected, but children learn from example. So if you are constantly not listening to them, they're learning that behavior. So when older kids aren't listening, even if you are consistent when they were younger, it might just be that they don't feel listened to themselves. And so I'm not trying to open a big bag of worms. Yeah, we're adults, and so they should listen to what we tell them. And we don't have to listen if they tell us, like, I hate broccoli, I'm not eating it. Well, you're the adult, so maybe in your house you have to eat the broccoli. I don't know, I'm just saying. So there is all that to play, but I do feel like if we treat children as respectable people, they will be respectful in return. If I have a friend who never listens to me when I talk, I'm not gonna wanna hang out with them as much, right? I won't care as much when they have something to say. So the same thing with children. If I'm always ignoring them and putting them off till later, they might do the same thing. Hey, clean your room. Later, did you clean it? No. Clean your room. You know, so if they're saying, hey mom, I really want a yogurt snack, and maybe you have to fix that. Maybe they're at an age where you have to fix it. If they have to ask you 20 times, I know we're busy. I understand that. Then they're gonna do the same thing in return. And so the way I handle that, because obviously I have some kids who I need to help do things with. I'm gonna turn this into a ridiculously long video. I'm gonna wrap it up, but I might say, hey, I would love to make you that yogurt snack. I need you to give mommy just like a few minutes, because I'm wrapping up things. And there's all that you can say and give and take, because you're not gonna drop, oh yes, sure, I'll do whatever you say. And I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying to give them some respect and listen to their needs and their wants and their desires as well. To reason with them and say, hey, I need you to clean your room because, you know, I don't enjoy living in filth. No, you can give up all kinds of reasons, but I feel like all that I've said, you can scratch it all, throw it all away. Bottom line, be consistent, be respectful yourself, and show them why you're asking. You know what I mean? Like, I really need, or you don't need to say I really need, but it's time to do your reading. Go do your reading. No, I don't want to do my reading. Well, without reading, your brain's not going to grow very well. Your vocabulary is going to be real small. You need to go do your reading. And honestly, I've used that. Because my kids, sometimes they love to read and sometimes they don't, but we read every day no matter what. So, you know, I give them reasons. Oh, why do I have to read again today, Mom? Well, because it helps build your vocabulary and your imagination and your creativity, and it boosts your brain power. That's why you need to read. And when they hear that, they're like, well, that's pretty cool. Okay. That helps them. If I just said, because I said so. Even if they go and do their reading, they're not going to enjoy it. So what is the point? You know what I mean? If they're hating me while they're doing it, if they're doing it just because they were told to and they don't care, so they do it really poorly, I didn't succeed very well, did I? I want them to understand why they're doing it, do it with a good attitude, and do it well. So I hope that answered the question. I don't know. I can blab about parenting stuff all day long, but yeah, 3 things: consistency, respectfulness, give them some reasons. All right.